Hey everybody, my name's Amy, welcome back to my channel, and I have a very exciting video today. It's my 25 and 25. So I have a lovely stack of books piled behind me that are the books that I am excited to get to in 2025. I also have there's 4 that I don't have here that I'll have to put up on the screen here, because obviously 1, they probably haven't come out yet, and 2, I think I'm getting them for Christmas. I'm not going to go in any particular order. I'm just going to start with this pile and then start with that pile. I'm not going to go into what the books are about, because some of them you'll probably know what most of them are about. It'll probably be a long video. Go grab yourself a drink. I have my gingerbread latte in my Christmas cup, which I absolutely love. My sister-in-law bought it for me last year. And I've got my gingerbread syrup in there, and then I've got my Tassimo coffee pod, and then I've got my milk, and it is lovely. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So, like I said, I'm not going to go in any particular order. I'm just going to pick it up and then show you what I'm going to read. So, hopefully going to read. But these are the 25 books that I would like to read in 2025. So the first one is The Ritual by Santiago Tessier. And this is a dark bully romance. My best friend Holly got it for me for Christmas. Yes, I've already got it because we opened them early. It has a bookmark in it, but it's not because I've started reading it. It is because literally it is the bookmark that she bought me for Christmas as well, which basically says, I don't watch porn, I read it like an effing lady. Which is true, because that's exactly what I do. I read it, I don't watch it. So that is the first one, that I will probably get to like straight away. I really want to pick it up now, to be honest, but I'm going to wait, and I'm going to put it on my January TBR. And the next one is Flawless by Elsie Silva, which is a cowboy romance. It's the start in the series, but they're all like basically continued standalones, and I've been meaning to read this for ages. My friend Holly got it for me last year, and I was supposed to be starting it this year, but I never got around to it, so I'm hoping I'm going to get to it next year. The next one is When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. I've been meaning to read this as well. I do have it on my Kindle as well, because I have the Stunning Waterstones edition with the sprayed edges, and then you've got the lovely end papers, and then you've got that on the front, which is absolutely stunning. But I have been meaning to read this because the next one comes out next year as well. So I'm hoping to get to this so I can then so obviously I've pre-ordered the next one, but then I don't know if I'm going to buy it or not, but I want to read this first so I know if I'm going to actually read it or not. And then the next one is one of my Fairy Loot books, which is The Temptation of Magic. I've been meaning to get to this one. I saw Jodie read it on Vanilla Moon and she absolutely loved it. So normally when she likes a book, I like it too. And she kind of like reads the same stuff that I do as well. And she is my favourite booktuber. And so, yeah, so I'm going to add that one to this. I can't remember who. Oh, it's by Megan Scott. It's because the name's not on the front and it's on the side, because I've turned it in the dust jacket in the right way. Because obviously, and then you've got this stunning edition. And then you have these amazing sprayed edges there. Look at them. I mean, it even looks like there's falling in there, but it's not. Next up is The Songbird and the Heart of Stone by Clarissa Broadbent. I've read, obviously, The Crowns of Nyaxia. I think I need to read one before this, so I'll probably add that. But it's not a book that I want. I mean, I probably could read this without reading it, but this is basically the next duology in the Crowns of Nyaxia series, and this is about one of the side characters in the first 2 books, and I absolutely loved her in the first 2 books, so I'm really excited to get to her story. The next one I've been meaning to read for ages, which is Binding Fantine by Chloe Walsh. I was and ahhing about like reading this because she's a chunker, and she's a very big book, but there's a lot of trigger warnings in here, and I don't really I'm not really one for triggers. I mean, the more the better, to be honest, as I always say. But There's not many trigger warnings in here. I know there's like abuse in here and stuff, but I have been meaning to read it for a long time, so I thought I'd get it on my 2025, and also it will help me towards my alphabet challenge because it begins with a B. And then the next one, which I was supposed to read this year, which I haven't, and I forgot because I was reading other things, and that is The Dragon Promise by Elizabeth Lynn. I loved Six Crimson Cranes. I thought it was hilarious. It was so funny. And obviously now I've got her Radiant Curse as well, so I need to read this, and then I can read the Radiant Curse, which I think is about a character in the first book, and I completely misjudged that character in the first book. So now I'm excited to read about her in the little prequel, so I'm excited to get to that one. And then the next one I'm going to be reading, hopefully, is Darker by 4 by June Clee Tan. She is the author of Jade Fire Gold. Now, I put Jade Fire Gold off for ages, and then I read it and I loved it. And then as soon as I saw that they were doing this one, I had to get it as well. This is also my Fairy Loot edition as well. I'm really glad that I got this one in my Fairy Loot box because I really, really enjoyed Jade Fire Gold. So I'm really hoping that I'm going to enjoy this because it's by the same writer. And if it's the same kind of writing, then I think I will enjoy it. I can't really remember what this is about either, but I am excited to get to this one as well. And then we've got another second one in a duology, and that is Ghostsmith by Nikki Patapatello. And I read Bonesmith and I really enjoyed it, but then my friend read this one and said it's not as good as the first one. There's a lot of travelling, but I don't mind travelling in books because I think it's good. But I'm hoping it'll get to the actual like conclusion of the story. But if it does drag on, I'm hoping it doesn't drag on because she said it drags on a little bit. But I don't kind of mind that sometimes in books. I mean, the writing's quite big, and I am really excited to read this. And I mean, it is look at that. If you need anything with Selena Sardoffian vibes, you need to read Bonesmith. It's really, really good. I'm even trying to get my dad to read it because I think he'd enjoy it because he likes stuff like this. And then the next one I need to read, which is one that I've also been putting off ages, and that is Ruthless Vows. Because as much as I liked Ruthless Vows, I didn't like the ending and what happened at the ending. It's one of the tropes that I really, really dislike. And I hate having to read a book with that trope in the second book because then I'm like, they need to like, I can't even, because obviously it'll give the book away if I tell you what the trope is, but then they have to get to like the bit where they're not in that trope anymore, and it really, really annoys me. So I'm hoping that it doesn't like they get to where they need to be in that trope, like not halfway through. Hopefully they get to it like straight away. But then if it's going to be the whole book, I'm going to be really disappointed because I'm just like, oh, if it's just at the end, they barely got any time in the first book, and now you've like done this in the second book, and I'm like, no, don't do it to me. But obviously I've got my Fairy Loot edition, which is also stunning. But then if this lets me down, I don't know what I'm going to do because I really liked Ruthless Vows. No, Divine Rival, sorry, this is Ruthless Vows. So the next one, which has been on many, I think I've put it on about, I didn't do a 24 books in 2024, but this was on 22 books to read in 2022, and I think it was also on 23 books to read in 2023. And then I put it on my Vampire TBR, and then me and Holly promised that we would literally read it this year, and we never did. And that is The Invisible Life of Ali LaRue by V. Schwab. I need to read this next year. If I don't, then I don't know what I've even got the special edition of it, so I need to read this because if I don't read it, I'm going to be so like pissed at myself that I've not read it, because obviously I've been meaning. I mean, it's apparently in like halfway through, like there's about 200 pages. That's really, really slow, but that's fine with me because I'll be listening to it on audio. But I really, really need to get to this. And it's a stunning edition, and I love it. And I really wanted to annotate it as well. That's probably why I've been putting it off for so long as well. Because normally when it's a book I want to annotate, I do put it off for ages. Because annotating book takes time to read and then annotate it and stuff. So, because I've been doing it with Assassin's Blade, I'm doing a spoiler-filled reading blog for that. And I've only read 3 chapters because I was reading other stuff and then I never got round to it. So I'll probably have to, I might do my reread next year as well for that. So yes. And then also one that's been on many TBRs is The Nature of Witches by Rachel Griffin. She's just announced a new book that's coming out in September 2025. So I want to try and read all her books this year so I can actually read the next one. And she always does like stunning editions. Obviously her editions always have like stunning books underneath. So I'm hoping I can get that. So if I pre-order it, I'm hoping I will get the one that's got like the hidden book underneath. But they're all standalones, so I don't necessarily have to read them in order. But I've always wanted to start with this one, and I've always wanted to annotate this one as well. So that's probably another reason why I've never done it. So I need to get this read hopefully next year. So that's one of the other books that I want to read next year. And then we have another one, which is Once Upon a Broken Heart. But I wanted to read this year, but then it just got so later in the year, then I just didn't pick it up. I put it on January's TBR. I put it in October's. I've even put it in like many TBRs, but I didn't want to then start it and then carry on the series in next year. So I thought if I just leave it and I will start it and hopefully read it next year, I'm going to make it one of my goals. I even have it on one of my goals in my journal to read the books that I own and stuff. So I will hopefully get to this year. The only problem is this is the only one I've got in hardback, and they now don't sell the other two in hardback. I've got the Fairy Loot editions, but I'm gutted that they don't have the other two in hardback, so I need to get them in hardback somewhere. So I'm hoping they might have them on Vinted, but they're really expensive on there. And yeah, I'm gutted that I didn't get them in hardback. I think I can still get the third one in hardback, but it's the second one that I'm struggling to get in hardback, which is The Ballad of Never After. But yeah, so there's that one. So this is the one that I got from my Secret Santa from Jodie's like Discord, and that is Rewitched by Lucy Jane Wood. And I saw this, and then I saw Jodie read it, and then the way she described it just made me want to read it as well. And it's witchy. I love witches. And it's got a cat on it as well, and I love cats because I have a cat. I did have two, but I lost one last year. But I do have a cat. Her name's Daisy. She's ginger. You've probably seen her in some of my videos. She's currently locked away in her room. We call it the cat room because obviously we've got the Christmas tree up and she tries to get in the Christmas tree, so we have to lock her away for like the 2 weeks that we've got decorations up. And obviously while I'm doing the video, I normally let her out when I'm here, but while I'm making this video, I've had to lock her away because I know she's just going to come and get on top of me and try and get in the tree because that's what she always does. And then she tries to eat all the tinsel. Anyway, rambling on. So this is about a witch in her 30s, which I think is good because obviously I'm in my 30s as well. I think she's in her 30s. I'm not 100% sure. But I think it was Claire that got it. So Claire bought it for me on Jodie's Patreon, one of her patrons, obviously. And obviously I now know her because I'm a patron as well. So yeah, she bought this me for my Secret Santa for Christmas. So thank you very much for that. I've even got, I've got the Amazon thing there. It says to you from Santa. And then we've got The Dagger and the Flame by Catherine Doyle. I'm also very excited to read this. I did put it on last month's TBR, but I didn't actually ever get to it. But this obviously gives me Selena Sardoffian vibes. I was supposed to read it, like I said, last month, but those edges, look at those. They are absolutely stunning. I think they're gorgeous. But I mean, if this doesn't give you dagger to the throat vibes, what does? And we're here for it. I'm here for it. So that's another one that I really want to get to in 2025. And then the next one I've also want to get to is one of my romantic books, which is Bonded by Thorns. This is basically a smutty Beauty and the Beast retelling Why Choose. And that's all I really know about it. And yeah. And she kind of gives me Poppy vibes from Blood and Ash. And then when you look at the men, he gives me Tamlin vibes. Don't know what he really looks like because he's got a mask on. And then you've got... And then he gives me like sexy Rhysand vibes. And even though he's blonde, he gives me sexy Lucian vibes. So, yeah. And then at the back, look at that moon. Isn't that stunning? And then we have Collide by Bao Kaba. And then we have The Hurricane Wars by Thea Gazone. I think that's how you say it. Sorry if it's not, but I've been meaning to get to this one for ages because the second one has just come out. So I want to kind of read this one so I can get that one, because I don't want to waste getting it and then it waits like I did with Once Upon a Broken Heart and it being paperback and not in hardback anymore. But yes, that's another one that I've been wanting to get to for quite a while, so I thought I'd put that on my 2025 list. And then I have Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling. I do have the indie paperback of this over there, so I'll be like weird to see like if I read that one first and then read this one and see the difference. But I think I might just read this one. But I bought this off Vinted for like £4, so I was like, score, because they were selling it, and I was like, I'll have that, thank you very much. It's like £4, yes please. And it was like £16.99 on Waterstones and Amazon, so I was like, thank you very much, I will be getting that for £4. Oh. And then we have one that I literally just bought because we have been going on about it, me, Alex and Holly, and I have it on my Kindle. And I was going to try and read it this year to do my queue, but I never got around to it, and I don't think I'm going to be able to read it because she is a chunker. And that is Quicksilver by Callie Hart. And I just love it. I mean, he's even got a tear running down his face, and the foiling. And then we have like the reversible dust jacket, which is like the discreet dust jacket. Waiting for my camera to focus again. There we go. So it's got the discreet, and then it's got that on the front, and then we have like end papers. So I was like, and I got it in the works for like $14.99, and I was like, score, I'm having that, absolutely. So I went up there with my mum, and I was like, I just need to buy this book. I got tips. I have it set up. So yeah. I've got to go put these all back on my shelf in a minute. I'm getting to my last physical book, and then the next ones I am going to have to put up here. It can go in front of Riley's stocking. And this is another Carissa Broadbent book, and I've been meaning to read this for ages. I've literally just bought it for Holly so she can read it with me as well, and that is Daughter of No Wells by Carissa Broadbent. Like I said, I'm not going to go into what it is. I can't even remember what it's about, to be fair. Apparently the first one kind of drags a little bit, or the second one drags a little bit, and then it kind of like picks up in the next ones. Becca from Becca's Books, I think that's her YouTube name, she's just done a spoiler-filled vlog for all three of them, which I am putting off watching until I've read them because I don't want it to be spoiled. So, yeah, I can't wait to read that one. And then I have my list here of the ones that I want to read that I don't actually have in physical copies yet, which I said I will put up here. So the first one is Lights Out. I can't remember who it's by. I've been meaning to read it for a while, and the only reason why I really want to read it as well is because of the narrator for the male, which is Jason something. Because I've got my three favourites. I got him, and then I got Teddy Hamilton, and then I got Aidan Snow, and they are my three favourite male narrators. Tim Campbell's okay because he does the ones from Blood and Ash, and he's quite good. But my top favourite is Teddy Hamilton. I love Teddy Hamilton's voice. It is so seductive and so good. He narrates the Haunting Adeline books, and he also narrates, I think it's like the King of Fury, and I've just got the God of Malice on my Kindle, and I think that's narrated by Aidan Snow, and Aidan Snow does the Twisted series, so like Twisted Love, Twisted Games, Twisted Hate, and Twisted Lies. I think that's who does it. Yeah, it is. It's Aidan Snow. I was right. It is. There's another guy that I can't remember his name. The Takeover by T.L. Swan. Sebastian York. He's another one that I really, really like as well. So you've got Aidan Snow, Jason, can't remember his last name, Teddy Hamilton, and Sebastian York. They are my top favourites. And then obviously my girl favourites are Elizabeth Evans, that does all of the Throne of Glass. She's now just released that she's going to be re-recording ACOTAR, so I need to re-listen to those because I want to hear them in her voice, because obviously I've read all of Throne of Glass in her voice, and I've read all of Crescent City in her voice, and someone told me that Akatar wasn't her voice, and I was like, no, I don't want to listen to that. And then there's the narrator that does the From Blood and Ash. She's really good as well. So obviously I'm going to be reading Lights Out, but that's also a dark romance. And then the next book that I want to read that I will put up there is King of Sloth by Anna Kwong. No, not Anna Kwong. Anna Hung. Oh, I can't. They're basically the author that does the Twisted series, and now this is obviously the King of Sing series. And obviously, I've read King of Wrath, I've read King of Pride, I've read King of Greed. Obviously, I now need to read King of Sloth, but obviously, she's now bringing out a new one next year, which I think is the King of Envy. So I need to get to that. I do need to buy it. I haven't bought it yet. It's on my list to buy. I'm waiting till like New Year so I can get it. And then the next one that I'm definitely going to be reading in January. It's on my January TBR because it comes out in January, but it probably will go into February, and that is Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. I know I'm going to be in pain with that book, but I'm going to read it anyway because I've been waiting for it all year, and then we'll be waiting a whole year for the next one, and then we'll be waiting a whole year for the next one. But that's fine because I will read it as soon as it comes out because I don't want to be spoiled, which is the same as what I did with Crescent City and what I did with Iron Flame as well. I literally come off social media, but I unfollowed people. I didn't watch any YouTube channels or anything for the whole time that I was watching it. I literally just read Iron Flame, so that is what I'm going to do. I will probably be doing a reading vlog dedicated to Onyx Storm. And then the last one on my list for my 25 books I want to read in 2025 is Daydream by Hannah Grace. I've read Icebreaker and I've read Wildfire. And I know I've got Daybreaker coming. Daydreamer. Because I've already technically bought it from my brother to me. And then there was something else I bought from my brother to me, but I cannot remember what the other one is. So that's good. That'll be quite a surprise for when I actually get the books that he's bought me for Christmas, because I cannot remember what I got to myself from him. So that's good, isn't it? But yes, so I'm going to love this book because it's Henry's book, and I loved Henry in Icebreaker, and I loved Henry in Wildfire as well. So yeah, so that concludes my 25 books that I want to read in 2025. Please leave any comments down below on any of the books that you want to read in 2025. If there's any of the books that I've mentioned, if you've read them, please let me know what you think of them. And please like this video if you liked it, and please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys!